We have Hungarian translation. It's already live. You just need to click on the interpretation and click on translation, and then you can hear it in your language. Now, I want to be respectful of this particular individual because this individual that I'm about to bring on as our special guest tonight, firstly, I gotta say, I've got a big soft spot for this individual because this guy has got one of the biggest hearts that I know. He's the true definition of a servant leader. He is the guy that when he literally will come to speak on the stage at a big event, but he's not the guy that's sitting in the back just waiting to go on the stage. He's the guy that sometimes is in the back of the room. He's helping out with AV. He's helping to put together the slides. He's doing the organization. He's doing literally anything and everything. He doesn't care about the fact that he's one of the top leaders in our industry, not just in our company, and he's got such an amazing reputation. He's got zero ego, this individual. That's one of the things I respect about him the most. Sometimes in this industry, you get people that get some recognition and their ego grows with it. This guy, the bigger the recognition he gets, it's like the smaller the ego that he has. And what I love about him the most, though, is that he's just got such a big heart that he gives so much, so much. He's the kind of guy that would be willing to literally, if you're cold, he would take his jacket to give it to somebody else. That's the kind of selfless leader that he is. Right now, it's midnight where he is in the Philippines. And, when I asked him to do on this call, when I asked him as well to do this very special promotion for you guys, if you don't know about the promotion, my goodness, this is crazy. Like, imagine having literally some of the best in the network marketing industry coaching you, doing accountability with you, helping you to create a plan in order to smash through any goals that you've got from your Viago business. We literally had this brilliant idea, me and him discussing that as we were preparing for Zimbabwe. And he offered to give 2 hours of his time to do group coaching for anybody that's booked for the next big event. You have until Tuesday midnight in order to do it. Now, having said that, I know some of you are thinking, I'm already booked there for Sydney, I'm fine. That's one way to think. That's a way to think if you don't have a team. But if you have a team, the different way to think as a leader is how many people from your team would you like to get mentored by Jesse Macpherson? And on top of that, Muzaffar Nashri, who's literally also going to give an hour of his time. So 3 hours getting mentored by multi millionaires on how to smash through your goals for Viago. Not only has he offered his time, we also offered his time to jump on the Zoom right now and pour into you guys. And like I said, it's midnight where he is, but he doesn't care. He's just always there to serve. I want to basically give a huge welcome to Jesse, who's my big brother, sometimes my little brother, but literally one of my favorite people in Viago. Jesse, thank you so much for coming on and serving as always. Over to you.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. Is it morning? I guess
It is.
or good late evening, everybody. So Eversini, thank you for the introduction, and ditto, I freaking love you. So thank you for being just a dear friend, and first off and foremost, but also for leading, and your loyalty, your commitment, your dedication towards not just the market here in Africa. I know we got people on from all over the world, but to everybody here that's really interested in elevating their life with Viago and seeing the vision of our membership, our community, and of course, and believing so much in me. I love you. But it is late for me here. I know you guys have a presentation coming up here at the top of the hour, so I'm gonna kind of jump into a few things here that I think might be important as we prepare for the official Africa launch event for Viago. Now, this is a very special thing. This will be my very first time coming to Zimbabwe. So, for those of you guys that are going to be in Zimbabwe with me in a couple of weeks, if you could put a heart in the chat box, or put a seven, or put a comment, or say I'm in, or let's go, or something. I'm so excited to get a chance to experience my first trip to Zimbabwe. I've been to Africa a couple times now, a few times now, but not to Zimbabwe. So this is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing week. Now, for those of you guys that want to participate in these special mentoring calls that we're going to be doing over the next few weeks to help you level up, if you have not got your ticket, get your tickets. Yeah, it's not too late, obviously. In fact, the majority of people that will likely come to the event are those that hear about it when it first is announced, and those that get started right before the event. Those are the most likely people to come, which means if you've known about the event and you haven't registered yet, I mean, I'm not trying to say that you can't go. Obviously, you can, but it's much more likely people who make decisions quickly are the ones that have success faster, and especially when they know it's something that they should do. So, all right, if you're on the fence still, let's get you off the fence. Let's get you there. I want to talk a little bit about that here today, of the building for the event, and kind of maybe give you a little bit of teasers for it, because having 2 days normally, obviously, being able to chance to do this event side by side with Efrosini to learn from one of the giants of this industry is going to be incredible. But you also have some incredible leadership locally that we are going to get a chance to hear from, and their stories, and pick their brains and find out what they're doing. But because this is my first time training in this market, and because it's the launch of Africa, I'm going to take a little bit more of the training onto myself, because I want to make sure that we get some of the foundational pieces of this launch really correct in terms of how to build the business. And what I mean by that are the real skill sets that we're going to be diving into over the course of this event that I don't normally train on as much, which I'm really excited about, diving into some of these topics and these conversations. So I can tell you, for those that are going to be there, not only you're going to be at a historical moment, but you're going to be able to say that you were there at the beginning. You were there at the official, the first. There's only one launch of a country, of a continent, of a market like this, and you get a chance to say that you were there. So whatever you got to do to get there, make sure that you do, not just for the mentoring calls, but to be there, because the magic happens in the room. It happens and a lot of times in some of the most least expecting areas in terms of the things that you're going to walk in, that you're going to get out of the event. So I want to talk a little bit about that event, but before I do, just for those of you I have not had a chance to meet yet, my name is Jesse, and I love what we do. It's one of those things. Now, loving what you do doesn't necessarily mean that it's not hard, doesn't mean it's not challenging, doesn't mean that it's not frustrating, doesn't mean that it's not times where, you want to just like throw in the towel, or you want to altogether just give up completely. I mean, gosh knows I've probably quit network marketing, more than anybody. I don't tell the company. I just decide, you know what, mentally, that's it. I'm done for the day, right? Now, back in the day, I used to have those moments where I was mentally done for a lot longer than that. Normally, I get a day or so out of it, but and it's one of those things, because that's when you know that it's worth it and it's worthwhile, when it's something that you really care. Because if you didn't care, it wouldn't cause you as much emotion for something that you really want to work. And the thing is that at this event in Africa, one thing that I promise you you're going to walk away with on Sunday is you're going to walk out of that event with zero confusion as to what to do and how to do it to go out there to build your business to the level at which you desire. The length of time it's going to take you to get there isn't going to be based upon me. It's going to be based upon you, right? So it's going to be based on how well you're willing to work on yourself, and how much activity you're willing to put in your business. But there's not going to be a confusion on how to get to the end result. Similar to speaking, if I live in Harare in Zimbabwe and I want to go to um, Joburg in South Africa, there's specific directions to get there. Now, if you'd never seen a map, if you'd never left Zimbabwe, if you'd never been in a car before, you might be thinking to yourself, how in the world am I going to get to Joburg? There's just like, that's, I don't know anyone that's been to Joburg. But if somebody gave you the map, gave you the road map, gave you the directions, and gave you the vehicle and taught you how to drive that vehicle, right? The only questions is, are you going to follow the directions correctly? And how fast are you going to go? It's not whether or not you're going to get to Joburg, to South Africa. It's just a question on whether or not you're going to follow the plan. And so you're going to have the plan. The question is do you want to follow the directions and how fast do you want to go towards getting to your destination, right? So I cannot wait for you guys to get this stuff. It's going to be a powerful, powerful, powerful weekend. And something that we're going to remember. There's going to be magic that's going to happen, and not only that, there's going to be moments where the light bulbs will turn on, and all of a sudden something will become present that wasn't there before that makes it go, "Holy cow! I didn't even know that that was the thing that was going to unlock my business future here from being at this event." So getting as many people there as possible is going to be your number one task, right? So I want to share with you kind of a few things on that. But as I launch into this, let's just take a quick second here to talk about where we're going and what we're doing here as a community and as a company and as an organization. So, what is the purpose? What is the reason behind not just coming to Africa, not just kind of taking some dear friends and business owners and launching Viago 10 months ago, almost 11 months ago, and kind of looking at the space of the industry, looking at the space of the world, looking at the space of business, humanity, AI, artificial intelligence, where the world is going, and go, what can we bring to the world? What can we bring to our community, to our friends? That can be something that is going to be not only impactful and meaningful, but something they're going to be a kind of a raving fan about and cherish, not only that they own, but that they're a part of. And one of the biggest things that people are going to get is we use it as the word community. Now, community is a word that's used all over the world in different contexts. There's community centers. It's a place where the community can go. Anything can be called a community, right? So, a group of people is a community, right? But when we use the word community inside of Viago, I use it in the way that I felt it, not heard it, but felt it when I got around Isaac Ben Shabbat and his family, our chairman of the board. And to say that he is a unique individual, I can tell you for 100% fact, the reason why I'm in this industry today is because of Isaac Ben Shabbat. My belief in his vision and his family's vision that I caught 14 years ago in October, actually, it was literally at this time, October 2011, is when I was first introduced to this incredible human. And when I saw his vision for community, when I saw his vision for culture and bringing people together and building a wealthy global community that serves the world, I said, I'm in for that. And I didn't care if it was products, services, memberships, if we were in kiosks, if we were going to fly helicopters selling ice cream. I didn't care. I just wanted to be a part of this man's greater vision because I knew he was the right person to be in business with. And that's one of the things that was really important to me is to know who am I in business with? Because in life, there's always storms. There's always ups and downs. There's going to be winters. There's going to be summers, fall, spring. You're going to get all the seasons. The question is when you go through challenging times, who do you want to go through it with? And I can tell you, there's nobody that I want to go through, go to battle with, go to war with, however you want to call it, go through winter with, than people like Efrosini, people like Helen, so people like and of course our chairman Isaac, because I've been through war back and front with this guy, and I've seen how he's been and who he has been through it, and it's one of the reasons why I can lay my head down at night and have peace knowing that we are going to get to the promised land. And so with Viago, as we're building this, This is something that is going to be very important as we're building the culture of our organization in the very beginning. Now, what I'm going to do today here is I want to share with you a little bit about my very first experiences in this industry that got me started. And then at the event and on these level up calls that we're going to be doing for those that are registered, I'm going to be going into some very what I call tactile skills, meaning the actual skill sets that are required to build and basically, it's hard to say guarantee, but however, there are certain skills in our business. If you learn them, you will be successful if you implement them. I mean, period. End of conversation. It's not that they work for some and don't work for others, they work for everybody. And so we're going to have these intimate calls to be able to help people get to their next level, which is going to be amazing. But today, since for many of you guys, this might be the first time that you have heard from me or heard from one of my trainings, I want to take you back to the beginning of my career and when this first started for me, so you guys can kind of have a snapshot of Jesse Macpherson from the get-go. So, and how this worked for me. So I'm gonna pull up a. Ooh, Zoom did some updates. That's new. Hmm. Uh, this should work. Let's ready, set, go. I don't know. It's thinking. Hold on one second, guys. All right. Switch cameras. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. All right. So this was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Jesse McPherson. So I got started at the ripe old age in network marketing at 19 years old. I joined in May of 2002. May of 2002 was my first month in network marketing. Now, I won't go through that whole story. We're going to save that for Zimbabwe, and I'm going to get a chance to launch into that a little bit more. But what ended up happening was my first month was amazing. I made $0. So, not a very good start, right? So, my first month. And part of the reason why was this I thought it was going to be easy. I don't know why. Like, when I was introduced to network marketing, I was like, this is brilliant. Why doesn't everybody do this? I thought I called my two for sures and they both said no. So I was like, kind of threw my kit under my bed and or futon. I didn't even own a bed. I was in this really shitty one bedroom apartment in Los Angeles. Uh, I was uh, I was making about $800 a month teaching dance classes, trying to figure out how to pay rent without having to call my mother. That's where I was at. But it's okay though. So, because you always have June, right? So June 2002, I made $0. So also not a very good month, as you can see here. Now, July things really picked up. I made $0. So this was my first start. Now, how many of you guys agree this is not like a very good fast start? And a lot of times people's starts are either an example or a warning. Mine was a warning as to what not to do, and hopefully an example today as to what to do. May, June, July. Now August. Oh, I had a breakthrough, a huge breakthrough. I made $0. Woo, man, not so hot. Now, this breakthrough did actually happen in August, and it happened the last week of August, right before my birthday. And what had happened. Yeah, it was. I went to my very first training. Uh, my sponsor kept promoting this stupid training to me, and I was like, I don't need to go to training. I don't need to be motivated. I need to be paid. So, like, in fact, can I get my money back? I don't, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, so, and she was like, Hey, I got this event and I got you a ticket. Now, what I didn't realize later on, I'm pretty sure, was I was a free ticket. You guys know like the buy one, get one free deals or something. So I was I was like the free ticket. So I'm 19 years old. And I want you to think about this. How many of you guys have had someone in your business that signed up that had 0, 0, 0, 0? We all had that person, right? They've been in the business for 3, 4 months, haven't done anything, haven't signed up anybody. In fact, is probably avoiding your phone calls at this point. But my sponsor kept calling and she kept telling me, I gotta come, I gotta come, I gotta come. And I was gonna make up another excuse as to why I wasn't gonna go. And she said, I got you a ticket. And I was like, fine. I was like, I'll go if you stop inviting me. That was basically like my deal I made with her. So I go to this event. It's at the Long Beach Convention Center. There's over 1,000 people, probably almost 2,000 people. And on that stage, I was about to turn 20 years old. I had had zero success. I'm still teaching dance classes. I'm in the back of the room with my arms crossed, upset. I don't want to be here. And one of the guys who was on stage training was a guy named Muzaffar Najfi. August of 2002. This is pretty crazy, right? Now, I know he's going to be one of your guest trainers and, of course, one of the pillars and co-founders really here of Viago, which you guys, if you don't know, you'll get to know very quickly. He was an unbelievable leader and trainer. But on top of that, one of the people who was hosting that event was a woman named Sherry Sharman. And Sherry Sharman actually was one of our guest trainers in Barcelona, Spain, because she was one of the top leaders of that company at that time. Now, why did this change everything for me? The reason why is because at that event, I really became coachable. And what's interesting is that some of the things that I'm going to teach you is stuff I learned that weekend is things that even today, 23 years later, because this was 2002, 23 years later, are still some of the most valuable things that I apply to my business today, which is wild to think about. Now, there are some things that have changed dramatically in this space and in this industry, but there are some things that are spot on here when it comes to building a network marketing business and building a people business. Right. So now some of the technology's changed, of course. Thank God for this technology and social media and Zoom, because if it wasn't for the things that we have here, we wouldn't be able to do this type of a call, obviously back in the day. But what ended up happening was from that event, they were like, you got to go to your first convention. And I was like, really? And they were like, yep, you got to go. So I was excited to go to my very first event. So I want to show you guys something, and I'm going to go over a little bit of what happened to me there and how you can take some of these lessons to be able to understand the power of this business model, right? So this, right, was a picture on the top left is my very first in-home meeting, like my very first like home party. And I'll tell you that story in Zimbabwe, which is a pretty wild one. But the bottom right is the picture from my very first convention. So here's another look at it, right? So I'm on the left, in case you can't recognize, I'm the white dude. And what is on my chin? Like, what am I doing? I think I was just trying to grow whatever hair I could on my face so I could look older, you know? So I think that's what I was doing. But um, uh, anyway, this company did their convention in Las Vegas, and so I remember going to Las Vegas to my very first event. And the guy on my right is a guy named Harvey. He was my upline, and then the other three were my team members, my first recruits that I brought with me. So that's Lindsay, my buddy Casey, and my buddy Jay Chris. So they were all students. Casey was my student, Lindsay was my student who took my dance classes, and Jay Chris was my friend who we started a dance company together called Chill Factor. So that was the beginning for me when we first got started. Now, what happened at this event changed my world, right? And I want to share with you a couple of things that happened because it was pretty wild. So I'll never forget. It was at the Riviera, which is a hotel they've since blown up because it was so bad. It was a really nasty hotel. And so we get there, and we get there. I try to get there early because they were like, "You want to get good seats," and I was like, "Okay." So I got up really early to stand in line to get good seats, and I remember like rushing to get to the front of the audience, and I was like, "Oh, that was pretty easy." I got to the front row, and I was surprised that I was able to get like a front row seat. And so anyway, I'm there, and this guy sits next to me, and and I am the youngest person in this. I'm 20 years old. I'm not even old enough to gamble because in Las Vegas you have to be 21 years old to buy drinks and to gamble. So I have to go through a different part of the casino. It's so embarrassing, right? Because I'm not even old enough to walk. Anyway, so I sit there, and the guy's like, first time. He could tell it was my first time, right? Because I'm like all like giddy excited, and he was like, first time here, and I was like, yeah. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, I didn't think there was going to be this many people because there was like 5,000 people in this room. And and he was like, "Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy, right? So have you seen the main room?" This is what he says to me. And I was like, "What do you mean the main room?" He's like, "Oh, this is the overflow room. This is the room that we're in for all the people who can't fit inside the other room, like the main room, like where the main stage is." And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Oh, you didn't know?" And I was like, "No." And there was like 5,000 people in my room. Now, in that room, there was like another 6,000 people in that room. But I was in the room where I wasn't even in the room where the event was. I was in the room where they had screens where they were broadcasting the event to from another part of the hotel because they couldn't fit everybody. And they had a couple speakers who spoke on our stage, and then that was broadcasted to the main event, but not the main ones, not where any of the recognition was. So I remember thinking like, this is crazy. Now, the reason why I know where we're going with Viago is this: is it starts with a couple hundred. It always starts with a couple hundred committed, thoughtful people that end up transforming a continent, transforming a country, transforming an area, because it always goes off leadership. And I want to share with you two things that happened to me that weekend that were really impactful for me and how you can prepare yourself for this weekend. So, or in 2 weeks. The first thing was this. The recognition was wild to me. And the reason why is because I had a chance to hear stories that were just inspiring. People that had bigger challenges than me, people that for sure were worse off even financially than I was, and I was broke. So, like I, I know what it's like to go down to the cheaper grocery store in Los Angeles and just buy big bags of cereal because that's about all I could afford. And eating, cereal in the morning and top ramen, noodles at night. And by the way, you're broke when you know 100 ways to make ramen noodles, right? Like you do the egg in it, you fry it, you do it different ways, like mixing some bologna, cut up some hot dog. I don't know. Maybe you've never done some weird stuff like that, but I've done. That's been me, right? But so through this process, okay, I'm in this event. I'm hearing these stories, and one of them just messed me up. I'll never forget it. All right, to this day. And I know this is stupid, but I don't know why this got me. Was this guy crossed the stage at this level called executive director, and executive director was making I don't know like $5,000 a month or something like that. And it was a very kind of a pinnacle level in the company, probably similar to like a emerald diamond, something around there. And this guy crossed the stage, and they were supposed to just say their name and where they're from. Now, I was living in California. Grew up in California my whole life, and I'm in Los Angeles. And this guy crosses the stage, and he says his name, and he goes, "Jesse McPherson, California," and he walks off. He said, "California." And I about lost it. I turned to the guy next to me and I was like, "Did he say California?" And I was like, "How much do these people make? $5,000?" I was like, that guy, that guy makes $5,000 in this company and he can't say California. He can't say California, right? Are you kidding me? I don't know why this like did it to me, but it was something. It's so stupid today when I think about it. But I remember vividly being like, "Kaf." It's been, as you can see, it's been 23 years later. I still think about this. Now, why is that? Now, it didn't. I mean, maybe he was nervous. Maybe he had a speech impediment. I don't know. But whatever was the issue, thank God he did it, right? So, because it helped me dramatically. So, thank you, California man, right? So, because I saw some people get up there that were so polished, who knew like, and I was like, oh man, that's inspiring. It was more like something I inspired to be like. But sometimes I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be ever like that or that good. Like you see some of these guys and you're like, what? Like, that's not me. But I was like, if he can't say California, I can figure this out. Like, I don't know. So that was one that ended up happening to me. So the recognition was pretty powerful. But then there was a story, and bear with me if you've heard me share this with you before. But for those that are new, I think this is important. Okay. And one of the reasons why it's really, really, really important for you to be able to get to Zimbabwe, but more importantly, get as many people as you possibly can there on your team. And it's a story from the one of the guest trainers. So there was a guest trainer that they invited in to speak at the convention, and he wasn't working with the company. In fact, he wasn't in network marketing. He was an outside speaker. He was brought in as a personal development coach, and he only spoke one time ever for the company. This was the only time, and his name is Jim Stovall. Jim Stovall is a guy who wrote the book The Ultimate Gift, which later became a movie. Um, it's not a very good movie, but the book is very good. So now in the book, he talked. I hadn't really talked about it, but Jim Stovall was blind. Now he didn't. He wasn't born blind. He went blind as an adult, and he tells his story about this successful businesses he created, and then he went blind, and what changed in his life. And of course, he had basically kind of given up. He said he locked himself in his kind of like little garage, and he had his bed, his radio, and little bell that he could ring, and had kind of given up that this was where he was going to stay for the rest of his life, locked in this room. And as a result of some things that ended up happening, he shared his story about what got him to come out. And a large portion of that was not, what they would call sight, but vision, as Helen Keller would talk about. And and then he went on to create one of the most successful businesses in the world, and helping people that had also lost their sight. And sometimes the things that we think are the worst things in the world that happen to us end up being our greatest gifts and our greatest assets. Because without them, you wouldn't see really what was possible or have something come into perspective. And so what happened is he gets up there and he shared the keys to success in his opinion. And obviously I can't go through all of them, but there was one that really stood out to me. And he said there was one thing he said it's actually pretty simple. It's like you change your life when you change your mind. You change your life when you change your mind. And he kept saying this, you change your life when you change your mind. He said, so if it's that easy, then why do so many people fail? And he went through a couple of those reasons. And one of them, he was like, he called it the spider monkey syndrome. Spider monkey syndrome. And I was like, this is interesting. So I am watching this guy on stage walk around the stage. He's blind. I am captivated because I think this guy's going to fall off the stage at some point, right? And I'm sure he has done this many times or he practiced it or maybe he had somebody in his ear. I don't know. I think about this 23 years later, right? So like how did this guy walk around on this stage without falling off, right? And anyway, so through this, he tells me, he said, so what ended up happening is that the Americans were trying to capture spider monkeys, and they were going down to Central and South America to try to capture these little spider monkeys up in the tree, but they were too fast. So they tried to shoot them with guns, they tried to catch them with nets, they couldn't get them. So the locals were like, here, let us show you how to capture spider monkeys. Here's what you do. You take a glass Coke bottle, like the long neck bottles. And what you do is you put it down at the bottom of the tree. And when you put it down at the bottom of the tree, you place one peanut, you drop it in the bottle and put it at the tree, and you have a perfect spider monkey trap. People are like, well, how does that work? I said, well, spider monkey looks down, sees that little peanut, doesn't really need the peanut, doesn't, it's not man, but it's like, hey, free peanut, why not? Right? So climbs down the tree, sticks his hand inside the glass Coke bottle, grabs the peanut, making his fist too large to get out. Can't get it, just won't get out. They can't get it out of the top of the bottle. So it's stuck there, holding the peanut in the bottle. Here's what's crazy. That spider monkey will sit there holding that one little peanut that didn't even really want in the first place. Can't eat anyway. But hold that stupid little peanut, right? Now, you could literally you could put mounds of peanuts right next to that monkey. And that monkey will sit there hanging on to that one little peanut. Didn't really need it, didn't really want, still holding on for dear life to that one little peanut, right? You could have a spider monkey party. You could do all kinds of stuff next to him, and that spider monkey will sit there hanging on to that one peanut that it didn't even really want, didn't need in the first place, can't eat anyway. And he's saying this whole time, and he said, after doing exhaustive research on the subject of spider monkeys, I feel like I can say in front of all of you here today in Riviera in Las Vegas without fear of contradiction that spider monkeys are stupid. And of course, the whole crowd kind of laughs, and he doesn't laugh. He waits for the laughter to die down, and he says, "But before we point our fingers at the spider monkeys," he said, "what is it in your life that you're holding on to that you picked up that you don't really want, didn't need in the first place, can't use anyway, that's keeping you from everything that you've ever wanted?" And I was like, "Oh, I just got it again." I got physically pushed back in my chair. Uh, like physically like I got hit in the face. Like my whole body, like I can feel the chills on my body because I could tell you if that building was still up today, I could go to that exact conference room and tell you this where exactly I was sitting in that chair because I got pushed back in my chair because all of a sudden it was like, he said the key to success a lot of times, and the reason why if it's you change your life when you change your mind, so many people fail is because they're holding on to things that don't serve them anymore, that they don't need, that they picked up along the way, that's keeping them from everything they've ever wanted. So for some of you, what is it you need to let go of? If you want to go up, you need to give up something. What are you letting go of? Now, for me, I remember in my chair going, he said, and it's not a skill. Usually it's a belief. You change your life when you change your mind. And I had to believe no one will listen to me because I'm too young. I just turned 20. Everybody in that room was 10 years older than me, plus, 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 right? I didn't see anybody crossing the stage that was in their 20s, let alone 20. Um, so I was like, no one's going to listen to me. I'm too young. I'm a broke hip hop dancer. Why would somebody listen to me? And I remember thinking of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm letting that go. I'm letting go. I'm too young. No one will listen to me, right? I'm going to let that go. And the person who stood up from that chair was different than the person who sat down. Now, why is this so significant? Well, I'm going to draw something out for you guys that will maybe help you and to help you promote for this. Because why this event is so significant for many of you guys, it's really sometimes difficult to comprehend. And so, what I want you guys to do is find out what is it you are going to let go of. And for some of you, it's letting go for the fact that you don't think you're worth it or you deserve it. And that's bullshit because you do. Okay. And I don't care where you come from. I don't care your past, your background, your information, your stuff, and allowing me to coach here. I know there are those of you in this room that have children that are as old as me, but you're allowing me to step into a coaching role in a coaching seat. And I cannot thank you enough for giving me the space to be able to do that. But why is that? Well, let's just say that this circle represented all knowledge in the entire world. Okay. Okay. What percentage of all knowledge in the entire world do you actually know? Of all knowledge that has ever existed from the beginning of time. All right. Now, if you were being generous, probably about a dot. Right. But for example's sake, let's just say that this piece of the pie were the things that you know. Okay. All right. Out of all knowledge in the whole world, these are the things that you know. And these are things that you know that you know. Like, what's something that you know that you know? Like, you know your name, right? I know what two plus two is. I know how to speak English, right? I know how to drive a car, right? Some simple things like that, right? So these are things that I know that I know, right? Okay, now, from there, there's another line here, which are the things that you don't know, right? Don't know. Okay. Now, what's something that you don't know, right? Now, like, good example, maybe you can type it in the chat box. What's something that you don't know? Like, I don't know uh, how to fly a plane, right? So I don't know how to roller skate. That's something I don't know why. I just can't figure out. So, right? I don't know. I don't know astronomy. How to Nisa? You don't know how to swim? Are you? We got to change that, right? So, but some of you guys are like, I don't know how to drive a motorcycle. right? I don't know how to ride a horse, right? So I don't know how to speak Tagalog. I live here in the Philippines. I don't know how to, some of you guys like, I don't know how to dance, right? So whatever it is. But here's the interesting thing. Some of you guys might be thinking, well, I don't know how to recruit, or I don't know how to sponsor, or I don't know how to go diamond, right? These are things. But these are things, I don't know how to ride a bike. These are things that you don't know. Okay. Now, I want to make this important. These are things that you don't know. Now, to get something that you don't know and move it over here is actually a pretty simple process. Find somebody who knows how to do the thing you don't know how to do, learn from them, and then apply the skills consistently through spaced repetition. We're going to talk more about that. But you'll notice that's not the biggest piece of the pie. What's the biggest piece of the pie? All of this. Now, what is this? These are things that you don't know that you don't know. What's something that you don't know that you don't know? You don't know. Oh, so when people say, why come to the event? Here's why a lot of people go to the event. People think they go to the event for this stuff, which is important. Okay. All right. Very important. Learning how to invite, learning how to prospect, learning how to do the things, but you don't know those things. Hey, I know I need to recruit more people. Okay. I want to get better at that. All right. I need to learn how to overcome objections, how to do that stuff. Okay. Got it. But that's not where the magic happens. You don't know where the magic happens? Magic happens down here in all of this in the areas you don't know what you don't know. So a good example is this. I did not go to my very first convention. They said it's going to be life changing. I was like, yeah, sure. Right. And it was. Now, why was that important? I didn't know that I didn't know I needed to know about spider monkeys. I didn't know who Jim Stovall was. I didn't know I needed to hear from a guy named Jim Stovall. I didn't know that there wasn't going to be a guy named Jim Stovall, right? I didn't know that the recognition was going to, I didn't even know there was recognition. I'd never been to a convention. I didn't know that somebody messing up how they say their state was going to be something that was going to be important to me. And what I mean by that, it's the things you don't even know that you don't even know. If you ask the people that were in Barcelona, Spain at Elevate, there were things that happened over the course of that weekend that for sure was not something you thought you were going to need to hear and or learn and or see, but it was super important to you. In fact, it was the most important thing to you when you got there. It was something you didn't even know you needed to know. What do we call that as your blind spots? See, for many of us, we have blind spots in our lives or things that have yet to come into perspective that are holding us back. And for many of us, what we're going to be doing is uncovering a lot of those over the course of the weekend and over the course of these level up calls. There are going to be things that are going to hold you accountable. There are things that are going to stretch you, things that are going to push you, things that are going to be uncomfortable because there is no more success in your comfort zone. All right. This business is challenging. It's rewarding, but it's challenging. I never use the word easy. There are some things that I think are simple, but doesn't necessarily mean they're easy. And sometimes things that are easy for some people are not for others. So I don't usually like to use the word easy in any context, even if it is a simple action. But inside of this, the simple side of our business only becomes simple when you have a full perspective view on what it takes to get from where you are to where you want to be. And we will deliver that for you. Now, for those of you guys that got a chance to kind of peer into this and understand the beginning of this is whether your journey is just starting or you've been on the journey, doesn't matter. But for those of you that are specifically new or just getting started with us, or those of you that have been a part of this profession before, Africa, we're gonna blow your freaking mind. I'm I'm telling you, right? So, and part of it is this is because we're going to dive into some of the stuff here that's not just your skill set stuff that's going to take your business to the next level. We're going to give you the roadmap, we're going to give you the vehicle, we're going to give you the plan. The only question how fast it's going to take you to get to your destination is going to be based on how fast you want to drive the vehicle. So if you have not got your tickets, get your tickets there. So, and as much as, I don't know when I will be back in Africa. I don't know. As I am launching the world and living here in Asia and building in these different markets. So it's something that this is a unique idea to have a couple of days with me, which is pretty uncommon. So, not just be there. How many people can you get on your team there? How can you incentivize them? How can you not accept excuses? For me, I know for some people it's unreasonable. And I even tell them, you know, so like I see my dear friend Aaron on here and AA Ron. And if Aaron was on here and he was to giving me the excuse that he can't go because he doesn't have the money and or the time, and I would say, listen, there's a cost to going and there's a cost not to going. So, you know, most people know the price of everything, but the value of nothing. They say, look, and I know it's unreasonable for you, Aaron, to go. I get that. And I am still going to be a stand for you coming in the face of your reasons. I am going to be an unreasonable ask and commitment for your future and your success. Because I know if you don't go, nothing's going to change. But if you do go, everything can change. And I want you to be there with me through this. So even though I know it's going to be challenging and hard, and you might have to find childcare and babysitting and figure things out, and it might be even it even seems unreasonable for me to be this pushy with you to be there. But I just know how important this weekend is going to be for you. So JMAT guarantee. If you have somebody that comes to this event or you come to this event and you come to Fun Friday with us on Friday, which I can't wait for, right? You come to Saturday and Sunday and you sit in your chair the whole time. And on Sunday, when we finish the event, closing talk hits and you did not think it was worth it, I will give you your money back. Jesse will. You can come up straight to me. All right. So come straight to me and say, hey, wasn't worth it. I will give you money back for your plane ticket, your hotel, your food, cost off work, childcare. Just tell me whatever it costs for you to get there. If you say it wasn't worth it, I'll give you your money back. So you don't have anything to lose if it wasn't worth it. But everybody I've ever done this to knows how it's going to be worth it because of the information. So, guys, get your tickets, get your team your tickets, get on our level up calls over the course of these next couple of weeks with us because we want to see you not just in Africa. I want to see you crossing the stage in Africa, representing your company, representing your community, representing your team. It's going to be something that's really important for us. And you never know. Some of you guys are going to cross it. By the way, don't start making up like, you know, fake states and fake countries, by the way, now, just to try to inspire some 19-year-old kid. So during the recognition, um, but we're gonna get into the thick of it. So I cannot wait to spend the week with you guys while I'm over there. Wait to spend the weekend with you guys. Please bring the best of the best of the best that you've got with you. And I promise you, this weekend will be something that you will write down. Like I talk about my first event for 23 years now. I hope that this is something that in the near future you'll go, hey, this was the day, this was the moment, this was the weekend that changed the trajectory of my life. For many of you, your Christmas will be wildly different. And for many of you, 2026 will be a wildly different year. And if you take this event and launch it properly for 90 days as we go from Zimbabwe into Dubai, like into Dubai. You guys understand this, right? We're going from Zimbabwe to Dubai for 90 days in February. So, because remember, November, December, January, February, it's a 90-day run from Africa to Dubai. And you do that right, and you run with us for 90 days. Many of you guys, if you choose to, will never know what it's like for someone to tell you how much your time is worth to go work for them. Many of you will come back with ultimate freedom of level of choosing where you spend your time because knowing it's priceless. No one can put their price tag on you saying you have to work here or do this for $1. Okay. You'll be able to walk into your work and just go, I got something in my eye. And your boss might be like, what's wrong with your eye? And be like, I just don't see myself working for you anymore. I just gotta go. I gotta be on 2 6-month vacations a year. I have an escape plan. It's called Viago Escapes. And you're going from escape to escape to escape, not because you're looking to escape the world, but because you want to get unplugged from the matrix that has people locked in and literally confined to a world in which they're being used as energy for someone else's purpose, but not you. You are out there liberating people, showing them that there is another path, showing them that there is another way, and showing them that they can build community, they can build wealth, they can build health, and they can build relationships. And if we do that together, I know we'll build something special. So, guys, I've been jibber jabbing at you too long. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning for me. I know you got a presentation coming up here at the top of the hour. So I love you guys. I will turn it back to you, Efrosini, if that is my job. I don't know where you are. I love you. Okay.
I don't know where you are. I love you. Okay. No, as always, for over delivering. I can't wait to see you in Zimbabwe. I can't wait to have some fun with you in Zimbabwe. So thank you, Jesse. Guys, give some love to Jesse for over delivering as usual and use this promotion that we've got right now. Let's get as many people booked for the events over the next 48 hours. Let's pack it out. Dubai Escape, by the way, is 50% sold out already. So there's some really great things happening as well. So get your tickets, get secured. See you in Zimbabwe. See you in Dubai.